r/NoSleep. Posted by u/mmartinv. Every night a child wakes me up. Daddy. I'm in a dreamless sleep, but I hear the word. The significance of the word escapes me. I'm exhausted. It's been months since I've had a full night's sleep. Daddy, it calls again. The word is louder now. The voice behind the word is worried and a little scared. I'm just awake enough to know that I need to wake up. I open my eyes and try to convince myself that I'm dreaming, but I know I'm not. Every night this child wakes me up. Where I sleep doesn't matter. Outdoors, hotels, hospitals, the location makes no difference at all. Somehow, she finds me. Daddy. It's a little girl's voice, high and shrill, and she's scared. Just a second, I call back. The routine is the same every night, but it doesn't get easier. How could it? How could this ever be normal? I sit up in bed and reach for my glasses. Then I stop. No glasses. It's easier if I can't see the details. I'm coming, I call again and slide into my slippers. For the 100th time, I ask, why is this my responsibility? Why did she choose me? I am not her father. I'm not anyone's father. My thoughts are still undisciplined, and for a moment, I think about the child's mother. It's too much. It's just too much. I feel cold. I start to shake. The shake progresses to heaving shudders, and I don't try to fight it. It's easier if my body has this time to convulse. I let my body have this small moment of rebellion before I force it to stand. My body is numb, and I am thankful. Diligently, I place one foot in front of the other. My legs are heavy. Head down, I have to focus on my steps to not fall. There is pressure in the back of my head, and that means she can see me. I raise my head. I am standing in the doorway of my guest room. The door is open, as usual. The lamp beside the bed is on, as usual. The figure is in the center of the bed, holding a stuffed bunny, as usual. I kept calling, and you didn't come, the figure says. I have a hard time waking up, I say and force myself to walk into the room. What time is it? 312, she says. The shrill of fear has gone from her voice, and I am thankful. I've started to think of it as she. It has a little girl's voice, high, piercing, and innocent in a way that I can't explain. How long have I thought of it as a girl? I bend down and squint at the bedside clock. 3:12, I say. 3:12, she repeats. I get that wrong sometimes. It takes practice. I'm sure you'll get it, I say and smile down at the child. She trills happily and hugs her stuffed bunny. Are you warm enough? Yes. Would you like me to get you some water? No. My throat goes rough as I ask, is it time to go to mommy's room? Yes, she says from behind her bunny. I force myself to hold out my hand, and cool smooth scales press gently into my palm. Then I stifle a shudder as innumerable scaled tendrils wrap themselves around my wrist and forearm. The child's form writhes as it raises from the bed. I can see the movement, but the details are blurry, and I am thankful. Could you turn on the light? She asks when we enter the hallway. Her request is so genuine it surprises me. How could something like her be afraid of the dark? I turn on the hallway light and briefly wonder if I should purchase a flashlight for her. We walk. The child is silent. Her current form conceals much of her sharp edges and power, but occasionally a claw or a spine grazes against my leg. She is coiled and prepared to attack. It's all right. We are almost there, I try to reassure her, but her grip still tightens on my arm. We find ourselves in the kitchen. The pull of gravity is less here, and I adjust my steps into a shuffle. We are close to mommy's door. The door to mommy's room is in a different location every night. The basement, the linen closet, the couch, and a filing cabinet have all been doors to mommy's room. The shape of the door does not matter. The door has been broad, narrow, crooked, or straight. It has been curved or flat. When the door is curved or spherical, I close my eyes. It's easier that way. This night the door to mommy's room is in the pantry. The ceiling, the food, and the walls are gone, but the floor remains. We walk forward and stand in the middle of a galaxy, my kitchen visible through the aperture of the pantry door. I remind myself that it was good that I didn't bring my glasses as I stand in the center of a blurry night sky. I feel the mother's presence. Large tentacled masses distort the light around us. The mother is a titan, a force that existed before gods, and her child is holding my hand. The child's hold loosens, and I prepare myself for what comes next. I will my muscles to relax as she wraps her small sinuous form around me in a sharp hug. She is home, and I am thankful. "Good night, Daddy," she says as she peels her many limbs away from me. "Good night, little one," I reply. She hands me her bunny and floats towards a writhing mass of stars. I stand watch until she joins her mother. The stars fade, and I am now in the pantry surrounded by spices and cleaning supplies. I feel gravity return. I step too quickly and stumble back into the kitchen. My legs shake, and I steady myself by grasping the counter. It's just too much. I scream until I'm out of breath. Then, I return to the guest room. I place the bunny on the bed and tuck it in. The child will want it when she returns. My responsibility is over for the night. Tomorrow, she will wake me. I will comfort her and turn on the lights and help her be brave. Then we will walk to Mommy's room, and she will leave me. We will do this again and again, night after night, until I can no longer wake up. The next story of this video. Posted by you/milk and honey. My guardian angel trades favors for protection. 2014 first encounter. It was a typical Wednesday in high school, and I had just gone to sleep. In the middle of the night, I found myself in a large, dark room with a grandfather clock and large mirror. Although it was December, the room was scorching hot, and my skin felt dry and itchy. "Come to the mirror, child," came a man's voice. Standing next to me in my reflection was an old, but tall man, with large, black eyes. "Who are you?" I asked, frozen in fear and confusion. "Where am I? What is happening?" "Be quiet, Cody, and listen to what I'm about to say," the old man replied in a quiet voice. "My name is Farrell, and I'm here to guide you. Tomorrow, you'll be in grave danger. However, I will keep you safe. And in return, you will do as I say. When you are ready to see me again, look in the mirror before you go to bed and say my name. You will see me in your sleep that night, and I will tell you what to do." Before I could talk back to ask any questions, my alarm clock went off and I had to get up for school. That day at school was a tragedy that would change my life forever. Every American teenager's worst nightmare, a mass shooting. The shooter had caused so many deaths and injuries all in the span of 30 minutes before the cops arrived to the scene. I didn't see any of this, though, because right after my bus picked me up, the engine randomly broke down in the middle of traffic. By the time we got to the high school campus, the shooter was already being handcuffed and taken away by police. That night I lay in bed sobbing over my lost classmates. I was so preoccupied with the shooting that I didn't even think about the weird man in the dream, or what he said. I didn't believe in the supernatural at that age, so the idea never occurred to me that I should try contacting him like he said. I did not believe in Farrell until I saw him again. 2016 second encounter. I was 17 this time, and my life was a mess. My mother had become so paranoid after the shooting that she would not let either of us leave the house. She found an online sales position for herself, and a cyber school for me. All of our groceries were delivered to the house, and the only sunshine I ever got was picking them up off the porch. I was miserable all of the time. I mean, how could I not be? My whole high school experience was ruined. I wanted to try to go through the grieving process in a healthy manner, so I could move on with my life. But that was impossible when every day I had to be reminded of it. One day, I decided that I'd had enough. I was going to run away. I started making money by writing English and history essays for my old high school classmates. I was able to charge $30 per paper. By the end of 11th grade, I had around $5,000 saved up from Cash App transactions, which I decided was enough to sneak away. I ordered a cab to a nearby city, and found a job and apartment. My plan was to work for a while, until I was financially stable enough to live on my own. Then I would contact my mother again, and she would see that I was doing fine on my own. My plan backfired though, when my mom tried to kill herself one night in December, because she thought I was dead. I stood over her unconscious body in St. Peter's Hospital, sobbing, begging her to recover and wake up. That night, while lying in bed, Farrell came back to me in an alcohol-induced nightmare. It was the same dark, hot room as before, with Farrell looking the same as the first time. "You," I shouted in astonishment. "I've seen you before. You're the man from my dream." "They're not dreams, Cody. When are you going to realize that? Please. You helped me the first time. Please don't let me lose my mother. You never upheld your end of the bargain, remember? I don't work for free. Why should I help you this time, when I was never thanked properly the first time? Please, I promise you, I'll do anything. Anything. Just let my mom recover. I don't want her to die." "Anything?" Farrell's eyes lit up at this, and suddenly the dream ended. I woke up in my bedroom to a text message from my mother, saying, "Hey Cody, I'm so sorry about this baby. The doctors say that I'm going to be alright though." Later that night I tried to contact Farrell to find out what he wanted me to do for him. I tried saying his name in the mirror before bed, but it didn't work. I just assumed he would come to me when he needed me. 2019 Third encounter. My life has settled down for the most part since the second encounter. My mom got the therapy she needed, and I was able to graduate high school and start my electrician license. I had friends again, a normal job, and a decent amount of money. Things seemed perfect from the outside. However, every night I was stricken with anxiety, worried about what I had agreed to. I tried contacting Farrell every night through the mirror, but he never responded. Finally, in August of 2019, I saw him again. I had been out drinking with some friends, when I passed out in my bed, unconscious. "Farrell, where have you been?" I shouted upon seeing him in the mirror in the dark room. "I've been trying to reach you for nearly 3 years. What do you want me to do for your favor?" Farrell smiled for the first time since I'd met him. His eyes seemed to grow bigger as he smiled, so big they took up most of his face. "Don't worry boy, you're already getting started. I'll come to you again for more instruction." Before I could ask any questions, I woke up sitting at my desk with my laptop opened. I had gone to bed last night at 11, but it was now 3 in the afternoon. How long had I been awake for? I looked at my computer search history, and saw that at around 1 p.m. I had planned a 5-day trip to China from October 3rd to the 8th. The hotel and airplane tickets were already paid for by various debit card accounts that were not mine. In front of my computer was a printed out copy of a Chinese bus schedule around the hotel I had booked, with certain routes circled. Some of the bus routes went into major cities, but some had me going into forests. Okay, I guess Farrell wanted me to run him favors on the other side of the world. Kind of weird, but I could do it. My father was Chinese, and before he died he taught me fluent Mandarin. 2019 Fourth encounter. The night I arrived in China, Farrell contacted me again in my sleep. However, he looked different this time. His eyes had gotten bigger, and I didn't need to look in the mirror to see him. He was right there in front of me, patiently waiting. Finally. "I've been waiting for you," I shouted. "Farrell, I am so confused. What do you want me to do here? I have the bus routes written down but that's about it. And whose card information did you use?" "Don't worry, Cody," he said. "The cards belong to rich men who won't notice a couple $1,000s missing. As for the trip, you let me handle that. I've done everything myself." "What do you mean you've done everything? We just got here." But as soon as I said it, everything went black. "Sir, I brought you some tea." I woke up to the sound of the airplane stewardess's voice. "I heard you coughing and sneezing so I figured you could use some," she said. I looked around at my surroundings and checked my watch. It was October 8th already, and I was on my flight back to America. Farrell had control of my body for a whole week, and I had no idea what he did with it. Frankly, I didn't want to know. 2021 Final encounter. It wasn't until the pandemic hit that it really began to dawn on me what had happened. I kept studying the maps that Farrell printed, Google searching the places on them. The first place I went was Wuhan, where the pandemic started. The other places were all very crowded cities across China. Farrell found out that COVID existed before any of the scientists, and he had me spread it as quickly as possible. I saw Farrell in my bedroom mirror one night. I guess he had grown so powerful that he didn't need to visit me in my dreams anymore. "How could you do this? You killed all of these people," I shouted at the glass. "You saved me and my mother. I thought you were my guardian angel." Farrell's smile looked bigger and more unnatural in the real world. I could swear he had more teeth than he was supposed to. "I didn't save anybody, you stupid boy. I don't have the power to do that. My only powers are to see what happens everywhere in the world and to enter people's bodies with their permission." In my anger and frustration I punched the glass, which seemed to amuse Farrell as he watched the blood trickle down my knuckles. "How come my mother and I are both alive then? How do you explain that? You're alive because your idiot bus driver never checked the engine or changed the oil. The night before the shooting, I saw that there was no way that thing would make it all the way to school tomorrow." At first I was pretty sad. Poor kid wouldn't have enough people there to shoot at. But then, I realized that this was a chance to trick somebody. "You were the first stop on that bus, so I figured you would be best. And your mother is alive because she didn't take enough pills to do any permanent damage. I didn't save her, I just overheard a nurse saying that she was going to be okay. I never performed any miracles, I just let you think that I did." What he was saying made sense, but I still refused to believe it. This was supposed to be my guardian angel, who saved me and Mother's lives, and now it was all a lie. "So what are you then?" I shouted. "Can I show you?" Farrell asked. "Yes." Suddenly my hand rose on its own, making a fist. I tried to stop it, but I couldn't. The knuckles pressed against an unbroken part of the mirror and I started writing with my own blood. Farrell C. Lucifer,